There's a Japanese philosophy called wabi-sabi. According to Google, it's a worldview centered on the acceptance of transience and imperfection. The aesthetic is sometimes described as one of appreciating beauty that is imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete in nature. When was the last time you applied this philosophy to your music? In my opinion, there's something so beautiful about the rawness in art. When you can actually feel the artist's feelings through the music, and it's not just some corporate commercial formula. It's that really imperfect sound, and I really desire that in my music. There are many different ways you can apply this philosophy to music and music production, from the development of the arrangement to the complexity of the sound design. But I think generally, mixing is what plagues most musicians, regardless of genre or style. Perfecting doesn't usually improve the track. Everybody knows at some point that you start preferring the original version 1 when you're on version 49, then you go back to that version 1 and you repeat that process over again. You start to then hate yourself because you know you wasted time. When you're so overly critical of your own work, you get so frustrated and you lose the joy and the passion you once had for simply creating. But the question is, why are you so overly critical? Well, I believe it's rooted in insecurities, because you feel the need for your own ego to be pleased by being accepted and acknowledged by others for your work. Your ego can't take that hit if you perhaps make something that others don't really resonate as much with. Rick Rubin is someone that I look up to a lot in this industry, and he mentions how we need to start creating art for ourselves and not for anybody else, having that more selfish approach in mind. We often make music with our audience or other musicians in mind, but this ruins the creative process because we feel the need to perform. This constant internal pressure to meet unrealistic standards will decline your well-being, and it will lead to a burnout. You need to learn to let the art just be, because it's an expression of who you are. Don't get so caught up in the actual outcome of one song. Start focusing on the process, enjoying the process, and admiring the song you just made for what it actually is. Then stop spending hours optimizing it and continue making new music. You'll actually get better if you don't get so caught up in the details and go insane. The pursuit of perfection is also just a form of procrastination. You may delay working on a track because of the fear of starting them, because of the fear that they won't turn out good, and instead you justify to yourself that mixing or perfecting this older song is a good way to spend your time, but you know it isn't. Perfectionism is also going to lead you to miss opportunities in your music career because the perfectionists wait forever to release anything. They're hesitant to show their work until it meets these unrealistic high standards, but nothing will ever meet these standards. They will only release once that fear has disappeared. You can always improve, and your brain will always tell you that you aren't good enough yet. This is an extremely common form of insecurity most people have, and I had it too for the first many years of producing. I wouldn't release anything because there was still something about each and every track I made that I thought could be improved. Who knows where I'd be if I just said screw it and released a track every single Friday after working on it for only a few hours. Who knows where I'd be if I hadn't tried to please the record label standards rather than my own, and who knows where I'd be if I'd made more ideas and released more imperfect music early on. Now, does any of this sound just a little bit familiar?